So over here you can see a picture of me and my little sister. Although we do look quite similar, we do not look identical or exactly the same. Many people may wonder why this is, especially because we have the same biological parents. Well, the reason we do not look the exact same is because of the process called meiosis. Meiosis is not to be confused with the process of mitosis, in which cells duplicate themselves. This is vital for things like growth and if we get injured. Although they are two very vital processes which our body performs, they are completely different. So humans generally have 46 chromosomes in each cell. However, there are special cells called gametes, which are our egg for women and sperm for men cells, that only carry 23 chromosomes.
So after the sperm fertilizes the egg, if you do the math right, we will have 23 chromosomes from the sperm and 23 chromosomes from the egg, and that will add up to our 46 chromosomes that the rest of our cells have. The first step in meiosis is interphase. Interphase is when the cell has to grow larger because the chromosomes inside that cell are going to duplicate themselves prior to starting meiosis. During the second step of meiosis, your mom and dad's chromosomes will come together. These are called homologs, and they will come together to create a tetrad. Since the chromosomes are so tightly packed next to each other, they will start to wrap around each other. So portions of one chromosome will switch with portions of another. This gives us variability in the chromosomes. These chromosomes can line up in different ways. Depending on which ways they line up, they are pulled in different directions. This is important because the way they line up can determine if you get a certain gene. So spindles are going to be attached to the chromosomes, and they are going to pull them apart to either sides of the nucleus, and then two new nuclei are going to form. From there, the chromosomes will meet up in the middle and line up once again. Next, what will happen is the chromosomes will get split in half to either side of two formed nuclei. After the chromosomes are split in half, we now have 4 separate cells. You can see in that each of the cells we have 2 different chromosomes, and in each of the cells the pair of chromosomes is completely different. In a male, these 4 different cells would go off and become sperm, and in a woman, one of those cells would get chosen to become the egg. So as you could see in my model before, I used 4 chromosomes, but in reality us humans have 46 chromosomes in each cell, and the gametes, which is the sperm and egg cells, have 23. So how do these numbers work? Despite the difference of how these 2 chromosomes look, they are both actually 1 chromosome. As you can see here, that they are both joined together by a centromere, and that is generally how you count chromosomes, by the centromere. However, this one only has 1 chromatid, and then this one has 2. So how these numbers go into meiosis is that before interphase you have 46 chromosomes and 46 chromatids, and then meiosis occurs, and at the end of meiosis 1, which is the first couple stages of meiosis, you are left with 2 cells that have 23 chromosomes and 46 chromatids. And then when meiosis is completely finished, or the end of meiosis 2, you're going to have 4 different cells with 23 chromosomes and 23 chromatids in them. In a perfect world, the egg and sperm cell that made us would each have 23 chromosomes. However, this is not always the case. Sometimes disjunction occurs, which means that the spindles don't separate the chromosomes correctly, so each cell can end up having too many or too little chromosomes. This leads to birth defects such as Down syndrome. So as you can see here on this karyotype, chromosome 21 has 3 chromosomes instead of 2.
This leads to Down syndrome. So, to wrap it all up, the reason that you and your sister or brother don't look exactly alike is because the egg and sperm cell that made you were completely different. They carry different genes, and this is because of the process called meiosis.